The king's back. 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 The king's back.
Yeah, what's up? What's good? What's happening? Welcome to my morning live stream. I am the actual King Smith, and this is Wake Up with the Actual King Smith. We liggity lizive Friday, December the 12th, 2025, and today's live stream is one that I thought was interesting and a moral question. It's a moral question. I think it has a little bit of ethical things in it. And I want to highlight and ask y'all, what would you do if you were in charge of a fund or a nonprofit that was designed and set up to get people that were arrested from protests out of jail, and the money that you would send out to these incarcerated people, some of the money got sent back to you? What do you do with that money? What would you do if you were the executive director in charge and you found yourself facing a lot of cash with seemingly nothing to do with it? That's the question that's going to be addressed today. And we're going to get into the story of Tashella Sheri Amore Dickerson, the longtime executive director of the Black Lives Matter Oklahoma City, who had been federally indicted, got them fed charges, and arrested on multiple counts of wire fraud and money laundering. Now, before people get too defensive, because we're talking about a black woman or overly celebratory, let me just get this up front. I'm going to say this right here. Just like the events of yesterday where we talked about Coach Sharon Moore from Michigan, these are allegations. People are innocent until they are proven guilty. But what we know about federal charges is this: the feds don't come after you unless they have the ability to prove that you did what it is that they're claiming. So we've got the press release from the Justice Department here, and we're going to go through it. And we're going to point out some things. These allegations don't just happen in a vacuum. No. When there's millions of dollars at stake, the public trust, a movement involved in which some people don't necessarily agree with the movement. So they're going to be looking to find a reason to nail you. You have to understand that when these extra eyes are on you, you have to move a certain way, an honest way. And this person didn't do that. The greed for the love of money got them hemmed up. So this is what we're going to do today. We're going to walk through what Ms. Dickerson was accused of, what the government claims happened, what this means legally, and a bigger conversation about accountability, trust, and leadership. We're not here to talk about the Black Lives Movement in general. This is not about tearing the movement down. This is about understanding what happens when power, money, and a lack of oversight collide. So let's get right into it. Who is Tashella Dickerson? Now, this lady, which I'm going to actually, hold on. Let me bring her up on the screen here. This is not a flattering picture of her, but this is Tashella Dickerson. And I got to see if I can find a better photo, because that ain't flattering. But this is a 52-year-old lady and a prominent leader in the Black Lives Matter Oklahoma movement since at least 2016, from what sources could find and what my producers could bring up. After the death of George Floyd in 2020, BLM OKC, like many chapters across the country, saw a massive influx in donations. Millions and millions of dollars came in, largely earmarked for bail funds, protest support, and community programs. But this is an important detail that a lot of people didn't realize at the time. The Black Lives Movement OKC chapter was not a registered nonprofit. Instead, they operated as a fiscal sponsor or under the fiscal sponsor of the Alliance for Global Justice. What does that mean, and what's the difference? That means that donations technically flowed through the Alliance for Global Justice, but funds had to be used only for approved charitable purposes, and there are strict accounting rules that apply. So again, if you are operated under a fiscal sponsor, strict accounting rules apply, and the funds that you received were only to be used for approved charitable purposes. That structure exists specifically to prevent misuse of funds. And according to federal prosecutors, the structure that the BLM OKC chapter had used was allegedly bypassed. Now, what was she charged with? But before we get into the actual charges, understand this. A federal grand jury hit our ass with 20 counts of wire fraud and 5 counts of money laundering. The prosecutors alleged that between June of 2020 and October 2025, Ms. Dickerson diverted at least $3.15 million in donated funds into her own personal bank accounts. And these weren't just random donations. A large portion of the money that the feds are claiming came from returned bail funds. So you're like, wait, returned bail funds? How is it that she was able to get this money back? Well, there are certain conditions of bail that if you meet those conditions, you'll get your money back. What are you supposed to do with that money when you get it back? All right. So when bail is posted and a person completes their court obligations, that money is returned. The returned money is supposed to belong back to the organization. not the individual that runs the organization that it gets returned to. So according to the federal indictments, instead of returning those funds back to BLM OKC's sponsored accounts, prosecutors say that Dickerson deposits them into accounts she personally controlled. Now, what did they say that the money that she had was allegedly used for? Oh, man, here we go. So I'm going to bring this up here. Let me see. I'm going to share and showcase this website here, which is the justice.com's press release that speaks to what she was allegedly accused of using the funds for. I've got it highlighted on the screen. She's accused of recreational travel to Jamaica and the DR for herself and a few of her associates, tens of thousands of dollars in retail shopping, at least $50K in food and grocery deliveries for herself and her children, a personal vehicle that she registered in her name, and 6 real properties in OKC deeded in her own name or in the name of Equity International LLC, an entity that she exclusively controlled. I don't understand why people decide that they can get in, make certain things happen, and get out like nobody's going to see exactly what it is that they're doing. All right. Shout out to God Happened to Me. He's in the building saying, good morning, love bug. Hey, babe, good morning. And man, we got some racist people coming out early this morning. Again, I started out this live stream by saying we're not going to talk about the movement. We're not talking about anything like that. And don't come on to Al Gore's internet and spew any type of hate and racist things on my live stream. That's the quickest way to get booted. Just like that. That's not what we're going to do here. All right. So to the person that put that racist comment, das booted. You are gone. Thank you for tuning in, though. Prosecutors say that she also submitted false financial reports claiming that the funds were used for charitable purpose when they allegedly weren't. And again, these aren't civil accusations. These are federal criminal charges. And the government doesn't guess. Indictments mean prosecutors believe that they have bank records, transaction histories, and documents to back this thing up. They don't submit this stuff to a grand jury and say, we allege that this person did this, therefore they should be charged. Oh, no. They got the proof whenever they submit to a federal grand jury like that. So, what are the legal consequences? This is what she's facing legally. If convicted, she faces up to, each count of wire fraud itself carries up to 20 years in prison. Each money laundering count faces up to 10 years. And there's a substantial amount of fines that I saw here. She faces up to $250,000 in fines. Now, no one is saying that she's going to get the maximum, but this is not going to be a slap on the wrist case. And I'd be willing to bet that if found guilty, that they're going to make an example out of her. Plain and simple. She's going to be the one that's made an example out of, even though, oh man, how do I say this? Even though there are examples of money laundering and crime like this, and there's other cases, different people where they get caught, this person doesn't have the same influence of like a Rockefeller or Kennedy or any of these other last names that, you know, have people in high places and things like that that can help get her a lower, lighter sentence. No. If she's found guilty, she will be made an example out of. If she has a good defense attorney, then they're going to be able to fight and give her the best chance possible to be able to defend herself against these charges. And hopefully, maybe, just maybe, if she is found guilty, there's a judge that'll make the sentence make sense, right? Let's say she's found guilty of all of the charges and she's, to serve, let's say, 10 years for each count. Hopefully it's 10 years concurrent, meaning like they're all at the same time and not stacked on top of each other, where you're going to be where you'll stay in jail for, a long ass time for doing something that she didn't kill anybody. She didn't take anybody's life. She didn't do anything that, how am I going to say this? When it comes to money crimes are, to me, you should definitely punish somebody as long as they're found guilty. If they're found guilty and you've got the evidence and proof that they did what they did that was criminal with the money, make them pay, right? People shouldn't just be out here, have the ability to do anything all willy-nilly and not face any consequences. Make them pay. But it's different between that, to me, and like homicide. All right. And again, federal prosecutors, they don't bring 25 counts of indictments unless they believe that they could prove intent, pattern, and benefit. And that right there, that last part is important for people to understand. It's also why, if you have the right to remain silent, use it. If you have the ability to use a lawyer, get them. And this is even if you're just pulled over and the cops ask you stupid questions like, do you know why I pulled you over? Where are you coming from? Understand your legal rights here. I had to learn some stuff the hard way, my damn self. Like, not in a bad way where I was facing anything crazy, but when I went back and I educated myself on what law was meant to do and how you should definitely exercise your Fifth Amendment. Like Dave Chappelle said, I plead the fifth. Legal things are intricate, especially when you talk about what happens at the Fed level. All right. And let's get into a bigger conversation here. This is where I'd like to sit back and zoom out, if you will. Because this case, in my opinion, raises a bigger question that goes beyond one person. And I'm curious about this. How much oversight should activist organizations have? What responsibility do leaders have when they're handling community money? Is there a way that myself, if I was a donor, that I could protect myself? And how much damage does one case like this do to an entire movement? We already had one person in the comment section come in here and say something racist just because of the color of the person and what they were talking about. There are already people that say that the BLM movement is a movement that doesn't really serve a purpose. You should still be able to support the idea that Black Lives Matter and demand transparency and accountability. And that's really for any nonprofit that you're a part of. I like to donate both my time and money to several nonprofits for veterans, as I myself am a veteran. The Wounded Warrior Project got their hands smacked several years ago because it was determined that they were out there living lavishly off of donor funds and not really using those funds properly. And when one person messes up, or a few people within a large organization mess up, it can tarnish that nonprofit's name. Let me see. God Happened to Me came in here and said, are you sure that they don't guess? There are some recent cases that would say otherwise. And what was her original charge? I missed that part. All right. She was charged with 20 counts of wire fraud and let me go back here. 20 counts of wire fraud and 5 counts of money laundering. And let me go back up here. There was something specifically here in the case that I wanted to highlight as well. Excuse me. Nope. Yep. That answered your question. The indictment further alleges that Dickerson used interstate wire communications to submit 2 false annual reports to the parent company on behalf of BLM OKC. And she reported that she used those funds only for tax-exempt purposes. And she did not disclose that she used the funds on her personal benefit. The press release goes on to say that the public is reminded that these charges are merely allegations and that she is presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. The case is a result of an investigation by the FBI of the Oklahoma City Field Office and the IRS. FBI and the IRS came into the picture. She ain't going nowhere. Miss Dickerson is not going nowhere. I think that this is more about accountability and how if you're ethically right and you can hold yourself and the business accountable, then you can keep yourself from coming up on fraud like this. Whenever money comes in and you've got a big name like this, you have to double down and be twice as upfront on proper governance and transparency. You have to be, because there are people that are going to come out of the woodworks and wonder how you're able to do this, how you're able to maintain that, how you're able to take these trips, get these properties, buy these cars. $50,000 worth of door dashing. How? So here's a couple of questions for you. Does cases like this change how you view donating to activist organizations? Should nonprofits and movements be held to the same standards as corporations? Hey, phone, stop listening. And what safeguards should exist so that this kind of stuff doesn't happen again? All right. Now, my assistant producer just sent me some notes here. Okay, got it. Thank you. I'm just curious. And if you have the opportunity and the time, put it down in the chat or put it in the comment section. And I'd like to see some thoughtful answers and not just hot takes. Now, let me see. In closing, let me get this off my screen. In closing, I'll leave you with this. Before I go enjoy the rest of this Friday. This case is still unfolding. The press release just came out yesterday. Miss Dickerson is entitled to her day in court. But for me, accountability is not an attack. It's a requirement. Movements don't just belong to the individual. They belong to the people who believe in them. And when you're somebody that's in an executive director of a certain position, you are held to a higher standard. You have to understand that. You should not be moving in a way that is going to tarnish the legacy of whatever it is that you're trying to uphold. Because when that trust is broken, whether it's alleged or proven, it deserves an examination and not silence. If you found value in this conversation, hit that like button. Make sure that you are subscribed to The Actual King Smith, where I come on here most mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and just have a conversation. I am The Actual King Smith. Let me see if we got any comments before I close out here. There are no comments. Thank y'all for tuning in. I'm going to enjoy this Friday. This is my off Friday. Think I'm going to kick up my feet, relax a bit, go downstairs, make myself some hot chocolate, and enjoy what this Friday has to offer. Y'all do the same. Take care. Peace.
Yeah. Come on. Yeah. Trumpets blare the golden call. A throne awaits, I rise so tall. Drums like thunder, shake the hall. Royal rope, I wear the weight. Diamonds cut the night, no debate. Heavy is the head, but I'm feeling great. Crown me king, crown me king. Horns will shout, let the kingdom sing. Crown me king, crown me king. Bow to the sound, feel the power I bring. I bring.